Let me stop you right there, because before you put a single penny on this FA Cup final, there are 3 things the bookmakers are hoping you don't notice. And once I show them to you, you're going to see this game totally differently. This is Chelsea versus Manchester City at Wembley, and on the surface it looks simple. But the data underneath this one is fascinating. Stick around. I've gone through the numbers on this properly. Form tables, goal data, injury reports, Wembley history, all of it. And what I found surprised even me. Let's get into it. So, here's where most people go wrong with finals. They see a big club, a big occasion, and they just back the favorite to win and call it a day. That's how you bleed money in cup football. Finals don't play out like league games. The stakes are different. The tactics are different. And Wembley has its own psychology, especially for Chelsea. And that's exactly why I want to walk you through what I'm actually backing here, and more importantly, why. Right, let's start with the obvious stuff, form. Manchester City have been absolutely flying. 8 wins and a draw in their last 9 matches across all competitions. 23 goals scored, only 5 conceded. They beat Arsenal twice, Liverpool, and most relevant of all, they smashed Chelsea 3-0 at Stamford Bridge just last month on April the 12th. City are also making history this weekend. They're the first team ever to play in for consecutive FA Cup finals. That's not just form, that's culture. Now flip to Chelsea. Outside of this FA Cup run, it's been a nightmare. 7 defeats in their last 9 Premier League games. A managerial change, with Callum McFarland stepping in as interim boss. And in those 9 games, just for goals scored, 23 conceded. Think about that. 23 conceded. The head-to-head makes it even starker. City are unbeaten in their last 13 games against Chelsea. 13, 10 wins, 3 draws. That's their longest unbeaten run against any single opponent ever. Now here's where it gets really important for the betting angle. Chelsea's injury list. They're without Robert Sanchez in goal. No Alejandro Garnacho. No Estavo. No Jamie Gittins. And Pedro Neto, the man who set up Enzo Fernandez's semi-final winner, is unlikely to be available. Mikhailo Mudryk is suspended on top of that. That's almost your entire creative and attacking threat gone. Chelsea have failed to score in each of their last 4 Wembley finals. For finals, no goals. And that was with a healthier squad. So, what does that tell us about the goals markets this weekend? I'll come to that in a second, because there's a proper edge in there. Okay, so here's the part that stopped me in my tracks when I dug into the numbers. And I want you to genuinely think about this. Erling Haaland has scored 12 goals in 12 FA Cup appearances for City. 12 and 12. That's insane. 11 of them came in hat-tricks. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. In semifinals and finals for Manchester City, 0 goals, 0 assists, 14 games, over 1,100 minutes, 25 shots on goal, nothing. Wembley specifically, he's played there 8 times for City, 601 minutes, 11 shots, not a single goal. The market is pricing Haaland at around 55% to score anytime on Saturday. Based purely on that data, that looks like a significant overestimate. Now, I'm not saying he definitely won't score. Of course he might. But the value in that market, it's not where most people are putting their money. So, if not Haaland, where's the smart money going? Jeremy Doku, the Belgian winger, has 7 goal contributions in his last 7 games. Since the international break back in March, he's been in brilliant form. 5 goals in City's last 7 matches, including the semi-final winner against Southampton. But here's what the market's offering you right now. The bookmakers have Doku's chances of scoring at roughly 26%. That's a 4.90 price on most platforms. A player who has scored or assisted in 7 of his last 7 appearances, priced at just over a quarter chance to score. Now that is value, not a certainty. Nothing in football is. But that price, given his form and Chelsea's exposed left side without Neto, that stands out. This is exactly the kind of edge that gets missed when everyone's to focus on the big name up front. Let me talk about the goals markets now, because this is where I think the sharpest bets are sitting. The last 5 FA Cup finals have averaged just 1.6 goals. 1 final went to penalties after a goalless draw. These games are tight. They're tactical. Managers don't open up. Chelsea, as I mentioned, haven't scored in 4 straight Wembley finals. Their last goal at Wembley in a final was a 5th-minute Pulisic strike in the 2020 showpiece, and they still lost that 1-1. If you put that together, Chelsea's inability to score at Wembley, their injury problems, City's clean sheet record, Then under 2.5 goals and both teams to score, no starts to look genuinely well supported. If you're a bet builder person, the combination of City to win, under 2.5, and both teams to score no, that has real data behind it. Those outcomes are correlated. A dominant City performance where they control the game is naturally one that trends lower scoring. Just make sure your bookmaker doesn't restrict the correlation bonus. Some platforms cap it, and none of this means I'm telling you it will happen. Football always surprises, but those markets represent genuine value based on the evidence. So let me pull this all together cleanly for you. Manchester City to win, roughly 1.6 to 5 on most platforms, slightly fair value given their form, history, and Chelsea's injury crisis. Not enormous, but supported. Doku anytime scorer at around 4.90. This is the standout value pick based on his form versus what the market is offering. Under 2.5 goals and BTTS. No, both backed by the FA Cup final history, Chelsea's Wembley record, and the current injury situation. Haaland anytime scorer, available but priced too high relative to his actual finals record. And the honest takeaway? There is no banker in this game. Nobody's giving you a sure thing. What I'm doing, and what I'd encourage you to do, is back probability and value, not just a score line. Before I go, and I mean this genuinely and responsibly, only ever stake what you can fully afford to lose. This is football analysis, not financial advice, and no bet is guaranteed. If betting stops being fun, please reach out to be gamble aware or your local support service. Your well-being matters more than any coupon. That's my full breakdown for Chelsea versus Manchester City, FA Cup Final, Wembley, Saturday the 16th. If this gave you something to think about, something the match previews you've read didn't mention, then smash that like button. Genuinely, it helps this channel reach more people who actually want proper analysis rather than just scoreline guesses. Subscribe if you haven't already. I cover every major fixture with this kind of breakdown, and I don't pad things out. You get the data. You get the reasoning, you make your own call. Drop your prediction in the comments below. City win, Chelsea upset, or does this one go to extra time? I read every single one. And share this with someone who's thinking about betting on the final. Without having done this research, you might just save them some money. See you after the final whistle.